Okay, I feel. I know, just watch them. Oh, I could sit here for hours. Look at the baby!
Let's just walk around and then...
As mentioned, AMAC is a 500 kilo animal right now. He's going to grow to be well over 1,000 kilos. And what we're working on mostly right now is establishing a strong relationship with him. Does anybody know how you establish a good relationship with a sea lion? You feed it, that's right, you feed him fish. We use this fish in a manner that's known as positive reinforcement in order to train the animals to do all the behaviors that we want to see. Now those behaviors fall into three main categories. We have our research behaviors, which for these boys right now is not many, but they will come in the future. We have what we call animal husbandry or healthcare behaviors. So AMAC here can show me his teeth. Good, he can show me his flippers. Good, he can even lie down and roll over to show me his belly. Good. These are all behaviors that can use to make sure he's healthy on the outside. In the future, we'll have him trained for more advanced husbandry behaviors like blood collection, x-rays, ultrasounds, all behaviors we can use to make sure they're healthy on the inside. And we do have full-time veterinary staff here to take care of any problems that we may come across. We then have a third group of behaviors. I'm going to demonstrate one of these behaviors right now. We call them our fun, silly behaviors. AMAC here learned a new behavior yesterday, and so we're going to see if we can do it. I can't guarantee anything here, but we can see if we can do it. Oh, maybe not. Good. So yesterday what we taught him was to vocalize. So now, obviously, he's a sea lion. He knows how to vocalize on his own. But the trick is to teach him to do it on what we call an SD or a cue. So when I wave my hand like this, good, he vocalizes. Now, it may almost seem like this behavior is complete because he's vocalizing when I ask him to. But now comes the really hard part. And that's teaching him to only vocalize when I ask him to. I have a feeling he's going to be very chatty for the next little while, kind of like that. So what we do in this situation is we don't reinforce it. We just ignore it, go on to something else, and only reinforce him for vocalizing when we tell him to. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Nigel. Let's give Nigel and AMAC a round of applause for showing off some sea lion vocal cords as well. Definitely learning new behaviors is very mentally stimulating, and having mental stimulation for these animals is incredibly important for their overall health care. And Nigel was talking a little bit more about how they actually train new behaviors with the animals. And it's very similar to something maybe some of you folks have done as well. Hands up out here if you've ever learned a new language. Couple of people, excellent. Now was it easy? A lot of people are shaking their heads. No, it's not easy learning a new language. So the trainers and the animals have to work together to actually establish and develop and learn that language and teach that language to the animals through using those hand signals and through using those vocal cues and through using different elements such as a target pull as well to have the animals moving from place to place. So you can see there might be a little bit of confusion between some different hand signals as he's still learning, but this is amazing, showing you how they're still learning things even after that year that they've been here. And you may have seen the 4 female stellar sea lions that we have around the corner. They've been here a lot longer. And they have been helping us learn more about stellar sea lions in general. And we have been working with stellar sea lions for about 20 to 25 years. And the reason why we're learning about them is partially because they're off of our coast, they are a local species, but also they range all the way up to Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, into Russia and Japan. Now that population lives up north along the Aleutian Islands and in Alaska. Over the last 30 years, that population has declined by 80%. That's a huge decline in a very, very short amount of time. Whereas here in BC, their population of stellar sea lions has remained very stable and has slightly inclined and grown. So what's the difference between the ones that are up north versus the ones that are down here in BC? Well, we wanted to know more so that we can help their counterparts out in the ocean. So by working with the females for about 20 years and getting to know more about the male metabolic rates as well and comparing them, if what they're eating is the same or if what they're eating is different and how it can have different impacts on their rates and their energy levels. So I'm curious for you folks, hands up if you had breakfast this morning. Yes, and keep your hand up if it was a healthy breakfast.
Yeah, we eat a bit.
Yes, lots of people kept their hands up. I'm glad to see it. Lots of people put their hands down like me. So I can ask you folks what you ate and if it was good for you. But we can only know what's good for stellar sea lions by knowing what they're eating exactly and how their energy rates change. So we've been able to tell that up north, that population that's been declining seems to be eating a lot more of a particular type of fish known as pollock. Has anyone ever eaten pollock before? Hands up? Lots of